Appreciate it. All right, now we're going to be switching to another aspect of the ethanol industry we want to talk about, and the safety aspect. You know, more and more ethanol is on the move across the country, many times in rail cars, and unfortunately we know that time to time there are accidents. Recently there was a big train wreck in Ohio, and some ethanol was being transported at that time, and want to talk about the whole safety aspect here of ethanol and ethanol transportation with Kristy Moore, Director of Technical Services for the Renewable Fuels Association. Kristy, thanks for joining us. That recent train wreck that derailment in Ohio kind of brought this to the front pages, you know, about ethanol moving through communities, and what if there is a spill, what about the concerns there environmentally? Kind of give us an update of what we need to know about the safety aspect of moving ethanol.
Absolutely. Good morning, and thanks for having me. The RFA has been focused on safety squarely for, a greater number than 10 years. We realize that we are producing and delivering a flammable product, but that's what it's got to be for its ultimate application in a spark ignition engine. So with that risk, we've got to mitigate that and manage that, and we do an exceptional job. But from time to time, and as you see an industry like the ethanol industry grow exponentially, you do open yourself up to incidents and accidents, and that is exactly what happened in Arcadia. Luckily for us, there were absolutely no injuries. Yes, there were some cars that did hop off the tracks, but we have been preparing for these incidents and spending, research dollars, time, effort, and expertise to address these types of incidents and get our first responders prepared so they know what equipment to bring, they know how to respond, they know how to pick it up, and they know how to clean it up. Luckily for us, we're dealing with a non-toxic, it's a very clean product. Most of the time, the incident coordinator on the scene will not apply any firefighting foams, because that would actually be more detrimental than ethanol that's biodegradable, that, when it actually hits the water or hits the soil. So we're pretty lucky in that. We've also got a couple of great organizations that were a stellar or founding member. The Ethanol Emergency Response Coalition, something that I co-chair, near and dear to my heart. I come from an operations and manufacturing background. Safety is more than number one priority every day. It's something that we keep our eye on in every aspect, whether we're producing alcohol, transporting it, or actually fueling our vehicles with it. The Ethanol Emergency Response Coalition is a partnership between government and private industry, where we have all volunteered our time and our expertise to develop materials, training videos, an equipment list that's appropriate to respond to ethanol blended fuels, whether it's E10 at the retail station and in consumers' cars, or whether it's in rail cars, trucks, rails, barges, storage tanks, or a production facility. So we've also not founding members, but we're part of the membership that leads the TransCare, which is a partnership between industry and the railroads, where we're developing and providing free training for emergency responders, EMT, police, LEPIC, local emergency planning commissions, all across the United States. And as ethanol has expanded from, maybe 50% of the nation's fuel in E10 to greater than 90%, we've got a lot of new emergency responders seeing ethanol for the first time.
So I had no idea all this was going on, all the training and education that takes place.
Absolutely. Most importantly, these folks, the emergency response industry itself is largely a volunteer organization, and people are volunteering their time and expertise to help in the event of a fire or in the event of a car accident. And so it's very important that organizations like the RFA provide these resources to these volunteers free of charge. And RFA, the Ethanol Emergency Response Coalition, and TransCare are absolutely dedicated to providing this free training in the evening hours, on the weekend hours, when they get away from their real jobs and they come to volunteer for their fire departments or their local emergency response planning commission. We provide these tools and resources so that we bring them up to our level of education so that they know. We train for the worst, plan for the best. And that's what we do with our Ethanol Emergency Response Coalition.
You hope it's never needed, but you have to be prepared in case it is. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kristy Moore, Director of Technical Services for the Renewable Fuels Association. Wow, that shows you what the industry is doing to be prepared in case of an emergency situation. All right, we will take our final break. When we come back, we'll talk with one of the leaders of this industry, one of the pioneers of this industry, kind of get an overview of where the ethanol industry is today. We're going to talk with Ron Miller, who is the RFA Membership Award winner here at this year's meeting in Phoenix. Stay with us. This is AgriTalk.